Hello, good afternoon, because it's already afternoon. Today it is Saturday. I need to think what date is it today? I think the 19th of September. And I thought I could whip out a reading vlog and try to read as much this weekend as possible because I of course had a major reading slump that I'm now trying to actively get myself out of. So I thought I could film that process. I only just finally finished this one, Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. This was a classic that had been on my to-read list for the longest time. And I'm not saying the book caused the reading slump. There were a lot of things that caused the reading slump, not this book. But I think that now that I finished it, I get why people like it. But I also have my own thoughts. But make sure you stay tuned to the September wrap-up where I'll say loads more about my feelings. But yeah, I had a major reading slump over the summer period. I had all these reading plans of like trying to get as many books read as possible, and then we hit a heat wave and I just didn't feel like picking up a book at all for almost, or maybe just over 2 months. Like I didn't feel like it. It just wasn't there. And you know what? You can't force yourself. So that's why I just try to, take it easy. And I finally finished it last night. I did have about, I think, 150 pages left, and I breezed through it in 3 hours. All of a sudden, I was like, you know what? I want to read tonight, which I haven't felt like in a while. So I was super proud of that moment, and I thought I could try and keep the reading train going. So I already picked my next book to read, and I'm going to be reading this guy. Hold on. This guy right here. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I love the Grisha trilogy. I loved the Six of Crows duology even more. So I'm super stoked for this one. And I think that that's one of the reasons why the reading slump just kept going, is that I kind of lost interest in the story I was in the midst of, but I knew that I liked it enough to keep it going, but I wasn't super excited for it. So there were all these books that were like going through my head like, oh, I want to read this, I want to read this, I want to read that. And I'm like, I sort of stopped myself from buying books for like a few months so that I could actually get some things read. And that just didn't really happen. So now I sort of feel bad about that thing. And then, you sort of go around in circles, and that's sort of what happened here. So yeah, this book didn't cause it per se, because it's not a bad book at all. It's just that it wasn't perhaps the right book at the right time. You know how that sometimes happens. So I really hope that Ninth House right here can just really tickle that itch of just like a really good like fantasy story. I've heard this being described as dark academia. Apparently it's set at like a university kind of thing. I don't really know much about it. My aim is to read about 100 pages today, not that many. There's only 450 in there. Depending on how fast this is as a read, maybe I'll read 200. But I just want to, again, not force myself, but try and read a little bit, just to keep me going. But there's also lots of YouTube videos and Netflix stuff I want to watch this weekend. So not sure how much I'll get done, but I definitely hope to be able to finish 450 pages of this lovely book in the next 2 days. That is the goal. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but we'll see. I'm super excited for this one. So I'm just going to go and have some lunch first, and then I'm just going to play some music, and I'm going to read. Alright, so the hair is an absolute mess because I still need to wash it, which is going to happen later tonight. So hopefully I look a little bit more presentable tomorrow, but I just finished reading the first 100 pages or so of Leigh Bardugo's Ninth House, and so far I'm quite liking it. It's sort of puts you on the wrong foot a little bit because there's like a dual perspective narrative, and you kind of start the story in the future, and then we sort of first go back in time, and then it sort of builds up. But the two perspectives aren't just two perspectives. You actually bounce back and forth between two different timelines as well. So the story kind of starts here, and then it sort of jumps back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So that gets a little confusing. I am someone who doesn't really like multiple narrators in a story. That it always feels a bit like a cop-out to me. Like, I didn't know how else to write the story, so that's why there's two people telling it. So I'm not sure whether I like that aspect of it. I'm usually not a fan. Not sure if this works. That's loud. But any case, so far it's mysterious. It's about a girl who can see ghosts and who's policing the secret societies at Yale University. A murder has happened, and she thinks there's more to it than everybody else. And that's all I know, and that's exactly what the blurb also says. So 100 pages, and all we've got to is like the blurb. So I do hope that it sort of takes off from here and that it does become a little bit more interesting, because I'm not saying it's not interesting. It's just, it's building up a lot of expectations for me, and very often when books do that, I find them a little lackluster in the end. I could be wrong. I don't know at this point. Right now, I'm going to watch YouTube videos, which will probably take me through the rest of the day. So no more reading left, but I'll be back with you tomorrow when I will continue this book for sure. Hello, good afternoon. I'm back for part 2 of this vlog. I will be reading, I promise you that, but there were some things I had to do this morning and that I just wanted to get done before I did anything else. So I did all of my chores, I did my dishes, and I cleaned my house and did all that. And then, I'm not sure if you can see that behind me, but I also filmed a fashion video, and those things just always take so much longer than I anticipate, and it's just so much effort to get so little footage because you need to change every single time you want to show an outfit. So I think I started filming this video at like 12:30 and it's now like 2 p.m. and I haven't even had lunch yet. So I am gonna have lunch first and then we'll read, but I also, look at the mess behind me. I also just need to make sure I put all of these clothes away first. So put the clothes away, have lunch, and then I can read. Let's see how far we can get in this Leigh Bardugo thing. Hello, I'm back. I have read about 200 pages now of Ninth House, and I just thought I could check in here and sort of tell you what I think of it so far. It's a very slow book. It's very different from other Leigh Bardugo books I read for sure. It's just, I don't know, it's perhaps that dual perspective as well as the bouncing back in time. I feel like I can't really get a good grasp of where the story is going. Like, it's 450 pages. I'm almost halfway and I still have no clue, and like I feel it keeps going around in circles a little too much. And it's sort of not doing a whole lot of stuff that is new, keeping me interested. The character that we're following, Alex, I find to be quite bland. She doesn't really have a lot of character to it. It's just, I'm not entirely sure about this one. Maybe I'll love it if I read the rest. It's just that I'm still a bit confused. I kind of feel like maybe right now I'm at a point where some interesting things might actually be happening, and I just feel that a lot of the parts that we're getting would have probably been better if it actually was told in like a chronological order, where it's like this girl makes it to campus, nobody knows who she is, and then she learns about her task and something happens, and then we get the rest. Like right now, it's just, because it just bounces back and forth in time and between perspectives, you just have no clue what actually happened in the bits that you haven't read yet. But you know, because of that very first prologue, that something big is going to happen. And you're sort of waiting for that promise. And to be quite honest with you, I think that waiting over 200 pages to even know a little bit what's going on is just a little bit too long. And if the characters were super captivating, it would have been lovely. It's just that the characters in the book feel very flat. And I already mentioned that yesterday when I was talking about the dual perspective. I always struggle with dual perspective narratives to really get a good feeling for the different characters, as I feel that because you're not truly attached to one character you're following, you're only getting bits from, in this case, 2 people, meaning that you can't really get into the feel of either one of them, so I just don't have a sense of connection to any of the characters in this book. It seems quite tropey in the way some of the characters are set up, especially our main character, Alex. I feel, you know, she's just the typical run down on her luck girl who gets a break and then needs to figure out difficult things on her own. Like, it's just something I've seen a lot before, so I went into this book being like super exciting, thinking, yay, dark academia, but so far we don't really get a lot of the magic. It's all implied. Like, we don't actually see her learn, and we don't actually see what these societies that she's supposed to protect people from, what they actually do. Like, so far it's like 200 pages, and so far we've only seen like 2 societies, and it's like, it's all very much like there's a nugget here, and there's a nugget here, and there's a nugget here, but there's no line I can follow to get from one nugget to the next, you could say. So it's sort of like, it's not really coming together. It just, there's no plot line here. Like, I was at the point where a girl had just died 100 pages ago. We're still working with a girl who has just died. Like, the timeline this covers also, just like, because of the jumping in time, there is a larger timeline, but it feels like everything is taking place in 24 hours while it isn't. I'm not super fussed with this. That's why I'm going through it quite slowly. So that's why I've only read 200 pages, and it's already 6 o'clock on a Sunday night, and I just want to go and do something else now. Reading slump has definitely been broken through. I hope I can finish this throughout the week. I think if I read like 50 pages every single day moving forward, I should be fine, and I should be able to read it before the next weekend, and then hopefully I can read like another book then. But yeah, it's pretty slow, and it's just not... I had just expected something differently going into it, going like, okay, dark academia, like magic at a university, and it's not tickling all the feels just yet. But as I mentioned, I think I'm now at this like crossroads where the book might change, and where I hope to be getting something more, but who knows? I have no clue about this one. I'm still very much in the dark, and I'm like, right now I do need more. This is definitely, so far, it's not a 5-star read for me at all. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe towards the end of it, I really love it. But that's, I'm just going to leave the vlog here. I'm just going to go have some dinner. I still have leftover sushi that I ordered last night. So I'll just have that for dinner, and then I believe there's a new season of Criminal. The English version of Criminal is on Netflix, apparently. So I'm going to watch it because it's got Kit Harington and one of the guys from Big Bang Theory. I don't know the actor's name anymore, but he plays a presumed killer, even though in the Big Bang Theory he's of course like this huge nerd. So I thought that would be fun to watch. Maybe I'll watch something else. I don't know yet. But yeah, I just feel like watching something differently right now, and I'll get back to Ninth House tomorrow. So if you would like to stay tuned and know more of my thoughts on Ninth House, then make sure you stay tuned for my wrap-up, which will be up the first Friday of October. Then that's when I will talk about my September wrap-up. So that should be next week. So I hope you'd like to stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make 1 video a week over on this channel, so I hope to see you then. Bye-bye!